Welcome back to the 6th Thinking Hat series. We're going to dissect an incredibly powerful thinking tool, one that can completely change how we generate new ideas. And that's the green hat thinking. While the previous hats helped us be more cautious, clearer, and more optimistic, today's hat exists for a different reason: creativity. To understand why creativity needs its own hat, we first need to look at a very familiar problem. Let's move on to part 1. Part 1. Creative blockouts and the need for the green hat. Before we begin, I have a question.
Why are there times when we are completely stuck despite trying very hard?
Before we talk about creativity, we need to be honest about a very familiar experience. Surely we've all experienced this feeling, a blank mind, a lack of ideas, and being stuck in old, worn-out patterns. It's a very unpleasant feeling. But it's not a sign of a lack of talent. It simply indicates that we're lacking a suitable mindset. And that mindset is called the green hat.
So you now have the answer to the question, why are there times when we are completely stuck despite trying very hard?
The answer is, creative block doesn't stem from a lack of intelligence, but from a lack of a dedicated space for creative thinking. Having identified the problem, the next question naturally becomes, what exactly is the green hat? Let's move on to part 2. Part 2. What is the green hat? If the problem isn't about ability, then where does the solution lie? I have a question for everyone.
What exactly is the green hat, and how does it differ from other thinking styles?
The green hat isn't actually a hat, but a mode of thinking. When wearing the green hat, we allow ourselves to focus entirely on creativity, growth, and new possibilities, like sprouting green shoots. The green hat represents the flourishing of ideas. Most importantly, it requires a purposeful creative effort. It's not about sitting still waiting for inspiration, but about actively seeking, experimenting, and creating something new.
So you now have the answer to the question, what exactly is the green hat, and how does it differ from other thinking styles?
The answer is, the green hat is a mindset that allows us to proactively generate ideas rather than passively waiting for inspiration. Having understood what the green hat is, we need to delve deeper into the core of creativity. This leads us to part 3. Part 3. Setting aside judgment, the key to creativity. But for creativity to truly flow, we need to remove a major barrier. I have a question for everyone.
Why is temporarily setting aside judgment so important?
The human brain is an incredibly powerful pattern recognition machine, constantly comparing the new to what is already known. This is good for survival, but it is the enemy of creativity, because premature judgment can stifle nascent ideas before they have a chance to root. The core difference lies here. Judgmental thinking looks to the past and asks, does this make sense? The green hat mindset, on the other hand, looks to the future and asks, where could this lead us?
So you now have the answer to the question, why is temporarily setting aside judgment so important?
The answer is, creativity doesn't need to be right or wrong in the initial stages, it just needs to be allowed to move forward. Therefore, temporarily setting aside judgment isn't about ignoring reason, but about giving the future a chance to emerge. Once you've temporarily set aside judgment, the next question is, how do you break free from conventional thinking? Part 4, Tool 1, Inspiration. Before we get to this section, I have a question.
How can an illogical idea lead to a breakthrough?
Inspiration is a deliberately illogical statement, even one that seems absurd. For example, airplanes should land on the reverse runway. its goal isn't immediate application, but to shock the brain, forcing it to find new ways of thinking. To protect these ideas from premature judgment, we use the keyword PO as a signal that this is just inspiration, please don't judge too quickly.
So you now have the answer to the question, how can an illogical idea lead to a breakthrough?
The answer is, illogical ideas aren't about finding the right answer, but about opening up questions that have never been asked before. If stimulation helps break the mold, are there other ways to generate new ideas? This brings us to Part 5. Part 5, Tools 2 and 3, Random Words and Alternatives. Before we begin, I have a question.
How do we force the brain to connect seemingly unrelated things?
The random word tool creates forced connections between the problem at hand and a completely unfamiliar element. For example, when designing a new type of cigarette, if the random word is frog, we might associate it with jumping. This could lead to the idea of an ultra-short cigarette designed for 2-3 minute breaks. Furthermore, the green hat always requires us never to stop at the first solution, but to keep asking ourselves, are there other ways?
So you now have the answer to the question, how do we force the brain to connect seemingly unrelated things?
The answer is, creativity emerges when we force our brains to stray from familiar paths. From this toolkit, we arrive at a very important conclusion about the nature of creativity. Part 6. Creativity is a skill, not a talent. I have a question.
Is creativity innate, or can it be cultivated?
Creativity is a skill, not a personality trait. The hats allow people to change their thinking roles without changing themselves, so even the most pessimistic person can wear a green hat and contribute ideas.
So you now have the answer to the question, is creativity innate, or can it be cultivated?
The answer is, the green hat democratizes creativity because everyone can learn and practice it. And when creativity becomes a skill that can be learned and practiced, it is no longer innate, but a conscious choice. So where do the ideas generated by the green hat go within the thinking system? We'll move on to Part 7. Part 7. The green hat's role in the overall thinking process. I have a question for everyone.
What role does the green hat play in the overall thinking process?
The green hat represents the initial stage of the thinking process, where ideas are generated freely, without being judged or filtered. Then, the yellow hat looks for positive aspects, the black hat considers risks, and the red hat assesses emotional responses.
So you now have the answer to the question, what role does the green hat play in the overall thinking process?
The answer is, the green hat doesn't directly build a house, but it provides all the necessary materials for the construction process to begin.
Now, let's review the reinforcement questions. Why are there times when we are completely stuck despite trying very hard?
The answer is, creative block doesn't stem from a lack of intelligence, but from a lack of a dedicated space for creative thinking.
What exactly is the green hat, and how does it differ from other thinking styles?
The answer is, the green hat is a thinking style that allows us to proactively generate ideas instead of passively waiting for inspiration.
Why is temporarily setting aside judgment so important?
The answer is, temporarily setting aside judgment isn't about ignoring reason, but about giving the future a chance to emerge.
How can an illogical idea lead to a breakthrough?
The answer is, illogical ideas aren't about finding the right answer, but about opening up questions that have never been asked before.
How do we force the brain to connect seemingly unrelated things?
The answer is, creativity emerges when we force the brain to stray from the familiar path.
Is creativity innate, or can it be cultivated?
The answer is, when creativity becomes a skill that can be learned and practiced, it is no longer innate, but a conscious and cultivated choice.
What role does the green hat play in the overall thinking process?
The answer is, the green hat doesn't directly build a house, but it provides all the necessary materials for the construction process to begin. In short, the green hat is a thinking mode that helps us proactively generate ideas by temporarily setting aside judgment and forcing the brain out of familiar patterns. It shows that creativity is not an innate talent, but a skill that can be cultivated. And in the sixth thinking hat system, the green hat plays the role of providing raw materials for the next steps in thinking. After this video, try thinking about a problem that you are truly stuck on. Allow yourself to come up with a completely illogical idea. Don't rush to judge right or wrong, just see where it leads you. Perhaps that strange turn will open up a new path. And remember, the green hat is just the starting point. It generates ideas, but to prevent those ideas from becoming chaotic, we need another hat to coordinate the entire thinking process. In the next video, we'll explore the blue hat, the hat of coordination and structuring thinking, also known as the conductor of the entire thinking orchestra. Thank you for watching this far, and see you in the next video of the 6th Thinking Hat series.